Welcome to this episode of Viatorian Voices, where our conversations on the way give witness to the ministry and spirituality of walking with youth and those who go underserved. We carry the charism of our founder, the Venerable Louis Curbs, who taught us, "Strive to do everything well, so that through you, Jesus may be adored and loved." Here's your host, Viatorian Associate Dan Masterton.
In this episode, we come to you with conversations recorded at our Fourth Viatorian General Assembly. This international Viatorian gathering brings together delegations of associates, brothers, and priests from each country where we serve, along with regional and provincial superiors, and our Superior General, Father Nestor Fils-Aimé, and his General Council. This assembly took place in October 2025 near Lyon, France. During the assembly, I went around to Viatorians from around the world who speak English and invited them to introduce themselves to our English-speaking community back in the United States. It was amazing how many people bring multilingual abilities to our Viatorian ministry and community life, and it's a joy to share a few of their reflections here. After you listen, help us tell the Viatorian story by rating our podcast in your favorite app, sending this episode link to a friend, and praying for and encouraging young men considering Viatorian religious life and all people considering Viatorian association. Enjoy the episode.
So I'm Richard Fiola. I'm an associate from the province of Canada. I live at the border of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, so in central Canada. I'm a school principal in a little French school in St. Lazare, Manitoba. So we have students coming from St. Lazare, Manitoba, and from Saskatchewan, little towns from around. One thing that I live with our community, our internationality, is that at our school we have some Vietnamese, we have some teachers from Morocco, we have a teacher from Benin. So even in this far distance from big cities, we do have immigration, and it's a form of accepting the difference and making them part of our community. So in the past, I've been in Montreal for close to 30 years with the different private schools in Montreal and living with the community Sacré-Cœur. So I was a member of that community working with the summer camps we have down in Montreal.
I'm Brother Jean-Marc Saint-Jacques. I'm the Superior Provincial of the Province of Canada, including Burkina Faso, Haiti, Japan, and Peru. In the past, I was a teacher and the principal of Collège Bourget in Rigaud during 30 years. Now I'm the provincial since 2 years, and I'm also in charge of the youth movement, Service de Préparation à la Vie, Service de Preparation to the Life, and summer camp. Les camps de l'avenir. That's a special camp. We receive a lot of group of young people, but people who have many problems, older people, poor people, and during all the summer, mid of June to the mid of September. That's a long time. And also, I'm in charge of a community, one brothers and 15 associated together. Communauté Sacré-Cœur is the name of the street where I'm living. Other things, the province of Canada was a great province in the past, funding in many countries around the world, like United States. And we work with a lot of things in culture and agriculture and for deaf people, blind people too. And now it's different because we're getting less brothers able to work, a lot of group of associates too. But we work with youth in the movement, in summer camp, and for the poor, we have the Shrine of Notre-Dame de Lourdes in Rigaud, receiving groups during all the summer. And we have a house to pray with deaf people, many things like that, trying to make a difference in the society, because the society of the province of Quebec in particular is now a lay society. They don't accept any special religious signs in the city, but things will maybe change in the future.
Okay, I'm José Javier, and everybody knows me as JJ. I'm a brother who lives in Spain I was born to the north of Spain. This is my 30 something, I can't remember exactly, the year of religious life. And now I'm in Madrid. In Madrid we have two schools, one of them is in Viator, another one is Fatima. This is my 10th year in Fatima, and I'm a teacher of secondary education, 12 to 16, 17-year-old students. And then I teach English and Spanish, and then I'm also the person in charge of pastoral ministry for several years. I think that's a very demanding, but it's also a very interesting and amazing job, but I would say mission for me as a Viatorian, because I think that we have to be witness of our life, our religious life as Viatorian. I think one thing I would highlight of being a Viatorian would be catechist. For me, being a catechist is very important because we think we have to be witnesses of God, of Jesus Christ, even though sometimes people are not really interested in those kind of things. But the first people to be convinced of their faith are us. And being a Viatorian, for me, that's very important to be a catechist, starting with children, but also with young people. Sometimes young people, teenagers, are very demanding. We are educators of different subjects, but we are educators of faith. And being educators of faith is also create the community. That's very important that the teachers, the rest of the teachers of the school, and the rest of collaborators, even the families, parents, and the students can see in us that we are following Christ. If we live this in community and following the footsteps of Father Carlos, I think we can be those witnesses we need to be in our world. That's not easy, because people sometimes are not interested, but we have to be those examples or kind of examples. For me, the Viatorian community, together, religious, professed brothers and associates, can be this community that represent the people of God. And thank you for listening to me. That was a pleasure. And if you visit Spain, you know that we have your Viatorian community in Madrid.
Hello, I am Javier Elena. I am a Viatorian from Spain. I have been associate since 1997 and I live in Madrid. This is my community. And I serve in Fatima School. It's a quite small school in South Madrid, in a neighborhood, a quite poor neighborhood. One of the things special in my community is that we are 12 people right now, and 6 of us are still teaching in the school, which is not common in Spain because many of brothers are retired. I think that this keeps us next to God, so we can first convert ourselves and then we'll have a good vision of the society in Spain, the young people in Spain. We also support a school group. I know that JJ spoke yesterday about catechesis and things like that, but we have the idea of the first announce to people that who don't know God or haven't heard anything about religion, and through the scout group we try to do this mission with these people. And that's all.
One quick note before this reflection. Our friend, Associate Cristian Estay from Chile, was happy to share a reflection but preferred to share in Spanish. We're delighted to bring you his reflection in Spanish and want to offer a small summary in English before you listen. Cristian is a Viatorian associate from Chile. He's very happy to share with religious and associate brothers and sisters from the United States. He works in St. Viator College in Ovalle in the Archdiocese of La Serena. He's the director of pastoral ministry there at the school. He hopes we can continue deepening the fraternity, friendship, and respect among our community and bring peace in our hearts and in our own communities. He shares our trademark greeting, "Adored and loved be Jesus," in Spanish as he concludes. Here's Cristian.
Hola, yo soy Cristian Estay, soy asociado de San Viator, de Chile. Estoy muy contento de haber compartido estos días con hermanos y hermanas religiosos y asociados de Estados Unidos. Les valoro, les quiero, les aprecio. Bien, yo trabajo en un colegio de San Viator en la ciudad de La Serena, cuarta región de Chile. Estoy en el colegio San Viator de Ovalle y ahí soy el responsable, el director, vicerrector de pastoral del colegio. En ese colegio llevo 3 años porque antes estuve en el colegio de Villa Alemana y mucho antes en el colegio de Viña del Mar. He estado, es decir, Viña del Mar, Villa Alemana y ahora Ovalle. Pero yo soy oriundo de Viña del Mar, nací en Viña, soy viñamarino, Viña del Mar, zona central de Chile. Pues bien, soy asociado, estoy feliz, estoy contento y un mensaje a ustedes de Estados Unidos, pues nada, que podamos seguir fortaleciendo los vínculos de amistad, de fraternidad, de cariño, de respeto, valorarnos unos a otros. Eso genera paz en la vida, paz en las personas, paz en los grupos humanos, paz en la comunidad. Y eso es un testimonio hacia afuera, hacia la sociedad, hacia la misma iglesia. Pues desde aquí, desde Lyon, las tierras del Padre Kerves, le envío un saludo cariñoso, respetuoso y muy fraterno. Y termino diciendo, adorado y amado sea Jesús.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. I don't know what time are you watching this. Here is afternoon. I am Pedro Herrera. I am a Viatorian priest. I work in Colombia. I live in Tunja, which is city north of Bogota, the capital of the country. We, the Viatorians, have a school, or run a school, with the name of St. Viator in Tunja. I've been there in Tunja for 8 years, almost 9 years, and I was principal for the first 5 years. Now I am just working as the director of finances of the school. I help there also as a priest in different ministries. At this moment also I am the representative of the bishop for the religious community in the Archdiocese of Tunja. I came to Lyon this time to be a translator at the Fourth Assembly of the Viatorian Community. I am translating from Spanish to my confreres of the United States to English. So this has been a nice experience to be with this big group of Viatorians from Africa, Europe, America, North, Central, and South America.
That's all for this episode of Viatorian Voices. We'd like to thank each of our panelists for their reflections. In your prayers, we invite you to remember and pray for Viatorian associates, brothers, priests, and youth living out our charism around the world, here in the United States as well as in Canada, Haiti, Honduras, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Spain, France, the Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and Japan, and our new community residents in Rome, Italy. To learn more about the international community, visit csvider-intl.org. That's csvider-intl.org. Most importantly, remember you can help us tell the Viatorian story by rating our podcast in your favorite app, sending this episode link to a friend, and praying for and encouraging young men considering Viatorian religious life and all those considering Viatorian association.
Viatorian Voices, Conversations on the Way, is a production of the Viatorian Community. Viatorians are professed brothers and priests, and women and men, lay associates. Together we proclaim Jesus Christ and the gospel and raise communities where faith is lived, deepened, and celebrated. In the footsteps of the Venerable Louis Querbes and under the patronage of Saint Viator, we strive to do everything well, so that through us, Jesus may be adored and loved. To learn more about our community, visit Viatorians.com or follow us on social media at Viatorian USA. Young adults can connect with faith-filled peers at Viatorian YA on the Way on Instagram, where Viatorian young adults are walking together in faith. We invite people seeking accompaniment in exploring God's invitations to reach out to vocation ministry. Send a DM on social media or email vocations@viatorians.com to start a conversation. Viatorian Voices is produced and hosted by Associate Dan Masterton, Director of Communications. Our Provincial Superior is Father Mark Francis. Voiceovers by me, Associate Dan Schwarz. Until next time, Venerable Louis Querbes, inspire us. Saint Viator, pray for us. Adored and loved be Jesus.